Hey Flosstube, it's Katie the Stash Queen coming to you on this Sunday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you are enjoying the day, whether you are with a loved one or on your own. Make sure you love yourself if you're on your own. It's a fun day. We don't really do much huge to celebrate it because the anniversary of when we started dating is February 20th, and we do more to celebrate that when it's not the crazy weekend of, sorry, I'm reaching for my drink, not the crazy weekend of everyone going out in super expensive restaurants. Plus, you know, until the campaign is over, cannot wait for March 2nd, babysitters are unavailable for us. So, did get some nice chocolates, got coffee, which is good because I'm only functioning on 3.5 hours of sleep. Thanks, insomnia. Wish me luck. This may be a goofy video. But anyway, all that being said, hope everyone's having a great day and has had a good stitchy week, and let's go ahead and get started. Start as always with my Q&A. Thank you everyone for the questions that you asked. I like answering these every week. I think it's fun. I like being able to help out other stitchers, and you know, it's just cool. Okay, this first name, I apologize in advance. I'm probably going to butcher it. Andrea Eusescu. I'm sorry, Andrea. She asked, what is the best way to find an out-of-print pattern? eBay would be my first place to look. There are also some groups on Facebook. I am not a part of them, but I know there are stash unload groups on Facebook. It would be dangerous if I was a part of them. That's why I'm not. I'm resisting temptation as much as possible. I can sometimes be responsible, but eBay is probably the best place to look. The one thing to keep in mind, though, you want to make sure you're actually getting the real pattern. There are people out there who will copy a pattern and sell the copy, and that's no for copyright. Just make sure, you know, you do your research and it's a reputable seller that you're getting from, or go to the stash and load groups and see if someone might be able to help out with that. That's all I can really think of. Santos Rivera had a couple questions for me. First, she asked if I was left or right-handed. I am right-handed for everything except for swinging a baseball bat or a golf club. I played softball for like 13 years when I was growing up, and I confused everybody because I would throw right-handed, but I would bat left-handed, and it just confused the heck out of everybody, but it was awesome. So yeah, right-handed for everything except those two things. My dad is left-handed for everything except for batting right. He bats right and swings the golf club with his on the right. My uncle, his brother, does the same way I do. Teresa's pretty much, she's all right-handed. David still shows he'll be a little bit ambidextrous. It's kind of a weird trait. Anyway, she also asked, where is my blog? I'll put a link to it below. I haven't updated it in forever, but if you want to go check it out, it's just a little stitchin', all one word, .blogspot.com. I'll put a link to it down below, but like I said, it hasn't been updated in a really long time. And then where can I find other Flosstube videos? The best way to do it would be to, on the search bar on YouTube, to type in Flosstube, and it'll pull up I think it's Wonderfully Hopeless that has a playlist, and it's got tons of Flosstube videos on there. Plus, the other way that I would, that I personally build my Flosstube watch list is anyone who subscribes to me. I go in about once a month and I subscribe to people who subscribe to me so they get on to my list. And then a lot of people put Flosstube or cross stitch as their keywords in their videos. So if you look that up, you should be able to find other videos too. Paula King asked if 2016 is the year of starts, are 2017 through 2050 the year of finishes? You're supposed to finish? What? No, just kidding. Actually, I could do another year of starts next year. I have the pattern and the floss stash to do it. Fabric might be pushing it. Not sure at this point. But no, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to start anything new because there's going to be Mania next year. I fully anticipate that I'll be doing new starts next year too. I doubt I will do a full year of starts, even though I probably could. We'll see how insane I am at the end of this year with finishing up this year of starts and what I want to do moving forward. But, you know, I work on my pieces. That's why I have the rotation that I do, so that my pieces, after they've been started, they still come up as whips. You'll see this week, even a bunch of the whips that I have for this week to work on are ones that I've just started for the year of starts. So they come up, and that's why I do my alphabetic rotation, so I can get a little bit on everything, and eventually things will get finished. I am a process stitcher for the way I've seen the definition between process and product stitcher. I like the process of stitching. I like starting, I like working on it. I love to finish, don't get me wrong. But I rarely put time limits on myself to get something done for a specific purpose, which makes it so that I can just enjoy what I'm stitching as I'm stitching along on it. So when I finish, that's great. I'm just having fun along the way. There is not enough caffeine in the world for me today. Novice Stitcher asked why I work on the border first, and have I ever done a border and needed to frog it because it doesn't match up at the end? I'll answer that question first. Yes. I've done that many times, and that's one reason why I do the border first, because I want to make sure that the border is complete and it matches up before I work on everything on the inside. I would hate, and I saw it happen a couple of times with the Once Upon a Time sampler. That was the annual sampler for Frosted Pumpkin a couple years ago. It had a big detailed frame. And I remember there being people at the end of the year, as the last pieces were coming in, who had been working on the border as the things went along, that it wasn't matching up, and it was like maybe back in April or May or June, somewhere way early on in the year, they had screwed up on the border, and they're getting back to the end of the year, and they're now having to figure out, oh my God, what am I going to do to fix this? So if I can do the border first, if I find out something doesn't match up, like Magical Creatures, that border is a nightmare. I think it gave issues to 95% of everyone who is doing that stitch along this year. I don't know why, it just did. I think sometimes I just fudge it and make it work. Other times I frog it. Depends on how big of an issue and if I can find where I screwed up. But the border, I like having the border done. It makes it easier for me to focus and to figure out placement of where things need to go on the piece. Because if I can work inside the little bordered off piece, or even some of the bigger bordered off pieces, it helps just to make sure I have proper placement and everything's going the way it should be. It's just the way I stitch. Painting with Thread Shanna asked, why do I use B5200 over white? B5200 is a brighter white. It's a snow white. I use it, I like the way it looks better on many pieces than just your plain blank white that DMC has. She also asked if you should use that over the blank white when it calls for blank white. It depends on what your preference is. Some pieces, the blank white is much better because it's more of a muted, softer tones. And the B5200 would be too bright. Other times the B5200 works just fine. It's a personal preference, what you like to do. But I am more likely to substitute B5200 when it calls for the blank white than I am to substitute blank white when it calls for B5200, if that makes sense. Sorry, got a thing popping up on my phone. Then she asks, what do the threads from Weeks Dye Work do for patterns? And can she just use DMC variegated thread instead? Of course you can. You use whatever you want. You don't have to use the recommended thread on any piece at all. Weeks, it's a variegated thread, so it does have some variegation. The colors, you can't always match up the colors with the DMC colors. There's usually something missing with either the gradient or the depth of the color, whether it's Weeks or Gentle Arts or Classic Colorworks or anything like that. But that doesn't mean you can't sub out. If you don't want to spend the money on the other specialty flosses, which it costs more, it does. If you don't want to spend the money, you can you can look out there. There are tons of places where you can find conversions from Weeks to DMC or Gast to DMC or anything like that to DMC. It's primarily the variegation and the depth of the color, in my opinion, that makes using the Weeks or the Gentle Arts, the Classic Colorworks beneficial. That being said, I've subbed out for those before with my Mo's, with my Joddery, with whatever I had on hand. The only ones that are the variegated flosses out there that I really don't recommend subbing out are usually the water lilies, the Karen water lilies, because their colors usually don't have a match that works in DMC. But that's my personal opinion. But yeah, it's the variegation, it's the depth of color. But sub out if you want. No one is going to come up to you and say, you didn't use the right color, so your piece is wrong. And if they do, send them to me and I'll kick their butt. Because that's not the point of this. Cross stitch is fun. Cross stitch is supposed to be unique. Enjoy it. Change things out if you want to. Make it your own. You guys have seen, if you watch this channel for any length of time, you see I switch things out all the time. There's nothing wrong with switching things out and using what you have on hand, or buying cheaper alternatives if you want to. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Sasha Kostenko asked what fabric she should do her Celtic Christmas lady from Lavender and Lace on. What I'm going to recommend, instead of recommending a fabric, and I apologize if I butchered your name, theviewer.net is a fantastic tool that has hand-dyed fabrics from a ton of different designers, and patterns from a ton of different designers. And it gives you an opportunity to see the pattern, the image of the pattern overlaid on an image of the fabric. So you can play with it and figure out which fabrics you like working, that you think work best. So I'll leave a link to the viewer down below. I believe Lavender and Lace is on there. I know Mira's are, I know several patterns are, and it gets added to all the time. I know fabrics from Picture This Plus and Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie and Under the Sea Fabrics, and a lot of the hand-dyed fabric companies that are out there have their fabrics for you to use for the viewer. So I would recommend just going and playing with the viewer. Be warned, it can be addictive to play with the viewer, but that would be what I would recommend. If you don't know which one you want to use yet, that would be where I'd tell you to go. So I'll put a link to it below. Christine Hennessy asked, do I keep my patterns with my whips, and how do I organize my patterns in general? If a pattern is small enough to fit in the bag that I hold the whip in, then it goes in the bag. So Little House Needleworks, Country Cottage Needleworks, Mirabilia, Nora Corbett, some of the Lazy Kates, some of the smaller patterns that I have that are just size-wise smaller patterns. When printed out, not necessarily size-wise of the piece, but the physical pattern is smaller. It will go in the bag. Otherwise, I have, for the ones that I am working on, I have 3 binders over here that I'm going to show you. This binder is my Year of Starts binder. It has all of the patterns. I don't want to show patterns, but it's got like the things that I've printed out, so you're getting a little bit of preview of things that are coming. I use page protectors. These are all in order of how I plan on starting for the Year of Starts. So it's got the pattern. A couple of them have a little bit of specialty floss or something that might have come with it. If it's one of the pamphlet patterns, you know, like your Glendon Place or your Prairie Schooler, that goes in there. When I am not working on those patterns, I have another 2 binders. See, they're all matchy. Matchy, polka dotty. This is my A through M binder. So I have the binder, it's got alphabetic tabs in it. See, there's an A, and then my patterns are in here in ABC order. And then I pull them out as I need to work on them and put them away as I am done with them. And then this one is N through Z. So that's how and then each week, there's the 4th binder. I pull all the patterns I'm going to work on for the week and put them in this binder here. So it has in here right now, it's got my Flames of Desire because I'm still working that. I don't want to show patterns. Okay, but you get the idea. The patterns go in here so I can bring this downstairs with me at my stitchy spot and not have these huge binders with me. Keep everything in here, and I switch this out at the end of the week. Patterns that aren't currently that aren't whips and that aren't anticipated new starts, I have just a box and that they're all stored in. That eventually that's going to have a better organization system, but right now it's just I have this little tote system over here that has the bottom level is just now storage, the middle one has all my fabric, and the top one has my patterns that aren't in use, and they're just in there right now. Or if they're magazines and books, they're on my bookshelf. And then, so the last thing I want to do, you all cracked me up with the hashtag not a heart and all those comments about the heart in my Around the World in 80 Stitches. I'll just say thanks for the laughs, everybody. I appreciate it. And yes, Jessie Marie, I am innocent. By golly. Anyway, thanks everyone for your questions as always. I appreciate them. I love answering them. If you have a question, feel free to ask and I'll answer it in my next weekly video. If I have missed your question, which is entirely likely today, considering, like I said, 3.5 hours of sleep, maybe, if I'm lucky, and that's falling asleep at 6 a.m. Long night. So anyway, so let's look at what I have worked on this past week. I said that last week in my last video that this was going to be a really busy week, and it was, but I only had one holdover this week, which worked out really well. I was able to get a lot of stitching done. I have a couple of mini finishes to show you, so let's start with that. First, on my Magical Creatures calendar, I finished the February block. So here it is, and as I have said before, this is the Magical Creatures calendar by Clouds Factory. I am doing it on 32 Opal Belfast in Diva from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And there is the February block, all completed. Yay! And I pointed this out in the group, but I'm gonna have to point it out here too. My son came up to me while I was working on this pattern, and the pattern was on my computer screen, because this is one of the ones I do electronically. And he said, "Mommy, there's a smiley face." I said, "A smiley face? What are you talking about?" There's a smiley face. There are the eyes. There's the nose. And here the cauldron is the little mouth. I can't unsee the smiley face. But I'm using flosses and silks from Most Sale for this. And this is the whole piece as it stands for now. I could start March if I wanted to. I'm not going to. I may start it closer to March, but I'm just going to put this away for now. And wait for the next month to come up. Oh, and my minder, sorry. It's a little unicorn needle minder from Minding My Minders. Then I also finished the France postcard from Postcards from the World from Clouds Factory. And this is on 32 Joglin and Ice Goddess from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Also using flosses and silks from Most Sale. So here's Paris. I added my signature, just the initials in the sign, because there wasn't anything in the sign. And I added 1999, which was the year that I visited Paris. Same year I visited Venice. I have not done the little bits that go in between the postcards yet, because I'm not sure. I think I'm going to leave those to the very end and decide at the end how it's going to look. And since I'm doing the frames of the postcard by the Country Colors, I can't continue on with this until March comes out. So there are my little Italian and French boys. Yay! And my minder is my Moulin Rouge needle minder from Delicious Threads. Excited. So that one's going away until March. For sure, because I can't start it until I know what the next country's going to be. Then, last night, okay, Pumpkin Passport by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. As I mentioned before, I am Whovianizing it. I finished Paris. So let's show you guys, this is how the full piece looks at this point. And you want to know all my Whovian changes for Paris. Okay. Well, one change for Paris that just wasn't Whovian, but was just in general. I added the French flag on the top of the Louvre because I want each flag to be represented. This bird I changed into a sparrow for Sally Sparrow of Don't Blink fame. This one got changed into a carrier pigeon, which is for, the doctor mentions that it's one of his favorite birds. The 11th Doctor mentions it's one of his favorite birds. And plus all of the different war episodes. There was, you know, the Daleks in the, I think it was World War I, think. There's a few other war episodes. So I did a carrier pigeon with a little message on its back. Then I added down here in front of the Louvre, I did the vase of sunflowers by Vincent van Gogh that says, it says to Amy from Vincent in the show, but I just wrote Amy on there in front of the Louvre. So there is London and Paris, or England and France, whatever it's necessarily supposed to be. All Whovianized. Yay. Now this one I'm going to keep working on, because I'm going to start working on the border for this, because I have plans for the border. I'll start working on the border on this, and I'll just work on this 15 minutes, half hour a day until March. And then when the March piece comes out, I will start the next portion of it. So yep, here's my little Rose Tyler in my very Hoovianized. I'm so excited with how this is working out. I'm really, really, really happy with it. So this one, like I said, I'll keep working on this. This is the 3228 Jovelin in Ice Goddess from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie with Flosses and Silks from Most Sale, and the limited edition needle minder from Frosted Pumpkin for this stitch along. But yeah, I got in a roll with that last night and I finished it. So then this past week for the Mania annual stitch alongs, for me it was a Brooks Books week, and I worked on Madonna and Child by Brooks Books. This is from the 2010 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue. And here is where I am at this point. Oh my gosh, so much Krennic. I mean, that's all Krennic that I added this week. Now, I will say, it's all supposed to be number 8 braid. And it is all number 8 braid except for this dark blue. Because apparently when I was ordering, because I needed the number 8 braid, I ordered the number 4 braid. So I did that with 2 strands of the number 4. So just a hint, if you have if a pattern calls for a number 8 braid and you have that color in the number 4 braid, use 2 strands of the number 4. It's cheaper and it provides the same coverage. You can't tell when you put your finger over it, which I know you can't do because you guys are on the other side of the screen. I told you I'm in a weird mood today. When I run my finger over it, I can't tell a difference in the feel or the texture between the double number 4 or the single number 8. Sparkly. I really enjoyed working on this. And it's a beautiful pattern. Oops, get that in there. Goes in there. This goes over here for now. Then, Year of Starts. Yay! First one that I started was All You Need Is Love by Jamlin. Now, you remember last week I had showed you the one that I did on Sunday because I did my video on Monday. So this is the one I worked on Monday. All You Need Is Love from Jamlin. And I did switch out to the B5200 instead of the white that came with the pattern. And here, because the white that came with the pattern was not good. And here's where I got the O and started the V. And this is my cute little Button Love needle minder from Delicious Threads. Then Tuesday, I worked on, this one I need to pull up for two, Gingerbread House by Joan Elliott. This was in the World of Cross Stitching issue number 196. And I am doing it on 32 Opal Lugana in Midnight Tryst from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And here is where I got to. This is one where I'm using the blank white instead of the B5200 because of the effect that it has with the rest of the pattern. And I have a little gingerbread girl needle minder from Minding My Minders. So pretty sparkly. Then, so that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I started Floss Fairy by Nora Corbett. And it was also one of my whips this week. So, because of the alphabet. So, it has a couple of days of work on it, not just one. But here is Floss Fairy by Nora Corbett. And I did this, I'm doing this on 28 Cashel Linen in Seaside Melody from Silk Weavers. And here is where I got to at this point. Just a little progress. And I've got my button covered Hermione from Delicious Threads. See, this is one of the ones, size-wise, this is the whole pattern. I mean, I'm not going to show the pattern, but it opens up, it folds out, and the pattern's on the other side of this. So I can fold it up, and it easily goes in here with the pattern, or with the supplies. Then the next one I started was Bluebird Santa from Mill Hill. I made good progress on this one. It's funny, I do 30 minutes a day on all of my Year of Starts pieces, and some days 30 minutes seems to be an eternity, and I get a lot done, and other days it seems to go by really fast, and I don't. I don't know why. But here's where I got to. I got the hanging thread. See, I've gotten more in a habit of hanging threads with the Year of Starts. And see, this God worked some on his coat. Then Friday, I worked on Orchid Intrigue. This is by Summer House Stitchworks, and it was in the Just Cross Stitch February 2015 issue. And I'm doing this on 32 Belfast in Irene from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm doing it 1/2 with the Called For Gentle Arts flosses. Floss, it's only one color. But here's where I got to. See, I cut down the fabric. And then my minder is a rose needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. Yep. Why 1/2? Because I can. It calls for 2/2. I've learned, thanks to Coffee Stitcher, that sometimes 1/2 works just as fine, especially on 32 count. So that's what I did. Then the last one for my Year of Starts this week was Year of Celebrations by Hands On Design, and I did the January piece, January start. And this is a series. It's from Cross Stitch and Needlework. This is the first part of the piece, or the first pattern in the series, and it was in the January 2014 issue. And I'm doing this all as one piece on a piece of 32 Belfast in Autumn from Under the Sea Fabrics. So here is where I got to with January yesterday. I've got Cleverly Disguised as an Adult Needle Minder from Minding My Minders. So this is the end of the square with January. I think there's a couple more on the pattern. But then I'll pull over and I'll start February over here, which is actually going to talk about here in just a second. So that was that one. So that was Year of Starts. Yay! Whips for this past week. We have, I worked on Fairy Queen by Joan Elliott from, I didn't pull her picture up easily. This is from the Fairy Enchantment book by Joan Elliott. And this is Fairy Queen. And I am doing her on 32 Belfast in Dappled Hollow from Under the Sea Fabrics. And here is where she ended up this week. Added some more green. Lots of green in this piece. And I've got a Tinkerbell needle minder. This one's from Gina's Unique Boutique. I could take a nap, but I can't because of the time of day, and I probably wouldn't sleep again. I really don't like the insomnia phases. They happen. Then the next one I worked on was Fairy Tale from Dimensions Gold. And I just added a little bit on this piece this week. Added more blue. And I have a little star needle minder from Minding My Minders. Or not Minding My Minders, from Nifty Needle Nannies, excuse me. Then the next one I worked on was Fall Fairy, also from Dimensions Gold Collection. I made some good progress on this one because I did a lot of half stitching. Who is it?
Are you still doing your video?
I am.
Then I'll come back later.
Okay. Don't know what that was about. here's where she is at this point. I did more of the blue half stitching background. I've got a group needle minder from Minding My Minders. She's just very pretty. Then the other two whips that I worked on this week, one was Flames of Desire, which is my February We Love Stitching stitch along piece for this week, so I'm not going to show it to you today. I'll show it to you tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on when I get that video done. And then the other one was Floss Fairy, which you just saw. So that was my week in review. A pretty successful week, if you ask me. So this week ahead, I will continue working on the Pumpkin Passport because I want to work on that border until March. What? I'm almost done. You gotta go. You can't be on video. You don't have clothes on. I'll be out in just a minute.
Finish now.
I will in just a minute. Go out so I can finish it, please.
Can you just say it now?
No, I am almost done. Go. He wants me to play video games with him. Okay, so this week ahead, close the door, please. David. 1. He ran downstairs. Hold on, let me close the door. Okay. David, leave the door closed. I'm almost done.
Can I hear?
You can't come on screen. You can sit right over there. Okay, stay right there. Okay, close the door though because I don't want to hear the noise. So, week that I'm, like I said, sorry, that is coming up in the head. I've got Pumpkin Passport that I'll keep working on. My Mania annual sale for this week is Tuscany Town Mandala by Chatelaine. I'm excited to get back to this. And it is being done on 32 Lugana in Chime from Picture This Plus. And here's where I am at this point. Starting point for the week. Interested to see how far I get this week. That's not a box to sit on, dude.
I need to sit on something.
You don't want to sit on those.
Why?
Because those aren't sturdy for you to sit on. Then because I finished Magical Creatures and the postcard for this week, I'm pulling back out my Focus for the Finish piece, which is Happy Everything by Diane Arthur. Pretty. And this one is being done on 28 Cashel and Treasure Trove by Silk Weaver. Here's where I am at this point. I don't have a whole lot left to do. It'd be awesome if I could finish this week. And I've got my Jake and the Neverland needle minder that's actually David's from Nifty Needle Nannies. Right? Okay. Stay off screen.
I am.
Okay. Close that, please. David. Yeah. So then for Year of Starts. First start is going to be the February portion, the February edition for the Year of Celebrations, which you just saw the fabric for a second ago. It'll be on the 32 Belfast and Autumn from Under the Sea fabrics. I just showed you. David. Then Monday, we are having an outing with Coffee Stitcher and the Queen of Starts and Brian C. for, we're all going to go to my LNS, Threads That Bind here in Plano. And the Stashed Prince and Princess are coming with us too. And we are all going to start together the, it's going to be the start of the We Are Diane Williams Stitch Along. It is Home of a Needleworker by Little House Needleworks. We're all going to start this tomorrow. Mine will say Stash Queen on here. And I am doing this, and I got to cut down this fabric before we go out tomorrow. David. Sorry. It is, what is this? Again, sorry. It's 32 Lugana in Fog from Picture This Plus. It's just a gray white. When I'm done, can you go out, please? So, David, I'm not going to play video games with you if you keep whining. No, because I'm almost done. If you can go, I'll be done sooner.
After you do that you have to come downstairs.
I will, I promise. So then my reminder is there's no such thing as too much stash, which the Queen of Starts gave me because she knows me so well. Then Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be working on the Teacup Collection from Vermillion Stitchery. It's an electronic patterns. I'll put it on a link to it below. And on Tuesday, I'm doing the January Snowdrops, and on Wednesday, I'm starting February Violets. I am going to be doing this on 32 Belfast in Whimsical Winter from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I think I may do it 1/1. I haven't decided yet. But this is the fabric I'm going to use. It's all going to be on one piece. And I've got a little coffee needle minder from Minding My Minders. Sorry, let me shut the door one more time. So that'll be Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday start January Snowdrops, Wednesday start February Violets. Then on Thursday, I will be doing Stitcher's Motto. This is in the World of Cross Stitch issue number 218. Do not disturb, stitching in progress. It'll go on my door. And I am doing this on 32 Lugana in pewter from Picture This Plus. I haven't pulled out Mo's to do this yet. I have a note that I was thinking of doing Mo's. I'll decide on Thursday what I'm going to do. Then Friday, I will do start Pumpkin Swirl by Glendon Place. One of the pretty dessert mandalas. And I am doing this one on 32 Lugana in Cyprium from Picture This Plus, which is this pretty orange-brown fabric. It's really gorgeous. The colors pop on it. And I'm using this really pretty autumn tree from Nifty Needle Nannies. See, got all the dinky dyes in here. I'm excited. Then on Saturday, I will be starting the Nunavut, I think is how you pronounce it. I could be butchering it, wouldn't be surprised. Santa from Mill Hill. It's the Santa with the polar bear. That's my year of starts. Whips for the week that I have planned. And you know, as always, if something has to be not worked on in a day, it's the whip for the week. The one holdover that I had this week was Flowering Crown by Just Nan. And it is being done on 28 Joblin in Avalon from Under the Sea Fabrics. And here is where I am at this point. You saw this last week. There's my Elsa needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. Then Monday, I'm going to be working on the Gingerbread House from Joan Elliott that I just started this past week that you guys just saw. Tuesday is Happy Everything. Comes up in the rotation, so it'll be my whip for the day. Wednesday, an electronic pattern. I'll put a link to it below. But it is Harry Potter Foes by Wee Little Stitches. And this is on 28 Joblin and Butterbeer from Under the Sea Fabrics. And when I started this, I started it the day that we found out Alan Rickman passed. So there's my Snape and a Harry Potter needle minder from Minding My Minders. So I'll continue working on that. Then Thursday will be Horn of Plenty by Sharon Pope. This was in the Just Cross Stitch issue September-October 2012. And I'm doing this one on 32 Lugana in Doubloon from Picture This Plus. Unfold it. This is as far as I got when I worked on it for the year of starts. Not super far yet. And I've got a pumpkin needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. Sorry, I'm rushing through this a little bit more just because I don't know how long it'll be until my son comes up whining that I need to come down and play with him. Then Friday, I will work on, from Joan Elliott's Cross Stitch Sentiments and Sayings book, I am working on It's My Mess and I Love It. This one right here. and I'm doing it on a 32 Belfast solo die from Silk Weavers. And this is as far as I got when I did the Year of Starts, and it's a K Rose needle minder from Minding My Minders. And then the last whip that I have scheduled to work on this week is my oldest whip, actually. And it is Italian Vista from Dimensions Gold Collection. It's a beautiful piece. I love it. And here is where I am on it at this point. I'll probably work more on the water. It's a really pretty cameo needle minder from Minding My Minders. So yep, that's my plans for the week. We'll see how far I get, because it's another busy, crazy week. Then I did have some stashquisitions to show you guys this week. Not much, just a few things. First, I got another needle minder order from Nifty Needle Nannies. Are we shocked? This one's a heart key, another bell, and then BB-8, because hello, BB-8, he's awesome. And then this one, we got a little Easter egg. This little girl reminds me of my daughter with the red hair and the glasses, and then a pretty floss bobbin needle minder. Nifty Needle Nannies, it's awesome. Put them up there for now. Then I also got in my order from 123 Stitch for finishing kitting up my March Year of Starts, for the Year of Starts. So I have 3 skeins of DMC 321. I have a couple of Karen water lilies. This is Antique Rose, just gorgeous. And this one is African Sunset, which is also gorgeous. Then I have one Weeks Dye Works. This is Lancaster Red. It's a pretty variegated dark red. And I have some beads that I didn't have in my stash. These are Mill Hills. Are they all the same? Okay. This is Petite Glass Beads 40161. This is Petite Glass Beads 40479. And then Frosted Glass Beads 60161. Then I have a piece of 30 count sandstone tea dyed linen for one of my pieces. Can you guess what I'm working on? Then I have a piece of 28 count. It's just plain white Jobelan. Yes, I needed a plain white Jobelan. Amazing. And then there are 3 pieces of 14 count perforated plastic that I needed for a few pieces. And then I have some 14 count perforated paper in silver. And you can see the reflection of all the mess. Yay. So that was it for my haul for this week. Plans for the week. I mentioned when David was in here that tomorrow Kate and Garrett and Brian and I are all getting together again. We are going to go to Threads That Bind, and then we're going to go to a play place for the kids so that Kate's kids and my kids can go play and we can stitch. I'm sure there will be a video of some sort. I have my shopping list ready for I think whatever I have left for April and May, maybe, for the Year of Starts. So I'm sure there'll be a video on one of our channels from that. Today's the last day of this week for We Love Stitching in Stitch Mania. I will not promise that I will do a video tomorrow because since I'm meeting up with Garrett and Brian and Kate during the day, and then in the evening I am going to a function for my father, I may not be able to do a video to show it tomorrow. If I don't, I will come back on Tuesday and do a video showing where I got to on Flames of Desire and show which piece I'm going to be working on for the rest of the time. for the rest of next week. I'm also going to take stock and make sure I have everything that I need for the March inventory, or for March year of starts this week. If I can, I will try to do a video this week. If I don't do it this week, I'll do it next week to show the preview for the March year of starts. Other than that, I'll be back on Sunday for my regular weekly update. I hope everyone has a wonderful stitchy week and that you get lots of stitching done, that you have a great day today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!